Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. This is the 41st CALLERLAB convention in Sparks, Nevada. Today is the 15th of April. I hope you have filed your taxes or your extension by today. My name is Buddy Weaver, and I am your moderator. And on the panel today, we have we have two out of three other panelists with us today. I'm going to introduce the two who are here. Almost needs no introduction, so I won't. Started his first recording was back in 1974. Got into producing his own square dance music in 1976. This is Wade Driver. A nice hand for Wade. From West Monroe, Louisiana, home of Duck Dynasty, Lottie Ainsworth. From South San Diego, California, and the Allemao. Our topic is music metering, but we're going to kind of narrow this topic down just a bit because we're going to bring it down to word metering. I want to try to make this as simple as possible. Metering, I don't want anybody's eyes to roll back up in their head saying, I don't have a clue about what they're talking about. Music metering, word metering specifically, is going to be narrowed down to the topic of singing calls. And what makes a singing call sound like a singing call versus what makes us, when we do some of these songs, sound like it's just another form of hash. And I'll tell you, a lot of it comes down to word meter. So if I were to give you a figure, if I were to sing a figure like, well, the head's promenade about halfway round the ring, come into the middle and square through, and to get me four hands around. What tune am I singing? I'm not. You have no clue. I'm not singing any particular tune. If we were to properly, are you lost? Let me know. I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah, I know you're interrupting me. That's okay. Now, if properly, with proper word meter, I was like, oh, you're going to pull my microphone out. Proper word meter. Now, let's say take a tune like, I'm trying to think of a tune. I had it in my head earlier. Heads promenade, go about halfway around, come in and square through, four hands around, then a right and left through, veer left and Ferris wheel, center square through, three hands, swing your corner, and promenade. What tune am I singing? There you got it. Proper word meter. It did two things. When you are in proper word meter, I'm singing my calls just exactly the same way that the original lyrics are sung. That includes every single time we take a pause. Not only that, but I'm singing it in a melodic tone. I'm singing the tune, oh, heads promenade, go halfway around. Now, if I were to hash it, it'd be, well, the heads promenade, go by halfway around. I'm no longer in a melodic note. My note in my voice has gone into a harmonic. And when you all, how many folks out here believe they can't sing any harmony? How many of you? Can I see a show of hands? Say, I cannot sing harmony. I challenge you on that. Because if you're doing patter, you're singing the harmonic note. You're hitting the harmonic note every time you sing hash. You're not singing the melody. Very few callers, he's one, can actually sing a melodic note in hash. Most callers call hash in a harmonic note. When you take a singing call, any singing call, and you start hashing it, you're not singing the melody, you're singing to the harmonic note. How many times have I heard when callers say, oh, you know, you record producers, you got it all wrong. You just don't make singing calls that sound like the original song. I beg to differ with you. We work really hard. We can to make those songs sound exactly like the original. We can make those instruments come jumping out at you to play that original melody. But if the caller is up there singing it like hash, it's not going to sound anything like the tune. In fact, it sounds like one constant night of hash calling. You might as well just put another hoedown record on and skip the singing call. Because a lot of callers do that. And I'm not going to point fingers. But we have that, correct?
You're nicer than I.
Thank you very much. They'll start singing the melody, you know, the sides face grand square, the circle left, the Allemao left, and weave the ring, and then they get to the figure. And a lot of times, and I can tell you what happens. Here's a thought process. First thought that goes through my mind, choreography. Choreography. I've got to change those figures. I can tell you from a very historic standpoint, singing calls, originally known as singing squares, had one figure. And the callers used that one figure. It was almost sacrilegious to change that figure. We're talking about early recordings, late 40s and into the 50s. So much so, and even before recordings came out, that bands would just start playing it. Dancers knew the melody and dancers knew the figure. So that even if the caller lost his place, the dancers would continue dancing the entire routine, completely without the caller. Let the caller figure out where he's supposed to be and jump in. That's true. And long about the 1970s, when choreography and extemporaneous choreography started becoming popular, was when the great idea, the brilliant idea came up that we need to change every single figure in a singing call. We can't do the same figure 4 times through. It's got to be more creative. The dancers are bored. The dancers, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the dancers are bored with people changing the figure every single time. That's what they're bored with, because every caller is doing it. And so many callers are not singing the melody, and that's where they're also bored with. They love to hear you sing the melody. Now, that being the framework about what we're going to talk about, I want to turn it over to Wade and let Wade say a few words about that, and then we're going to jump over to Lottie, and then, you're going to jump over to Andy first, and then over to Lottie last. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wade Driver.
All right, thank you. I don't want to pick on somebody. I'm not going to call any names, but I heard somebody at the session this morning mention the noise that we have in fills. And I'm going to tell you why it's noise. If the fills interfere with your calling, you are not singing the melody to the song. Simple as that, period. All right? Because when we do a song, we sing the melody. When you shut up, somebody's going to play. I'm going to give you an example now. The number one of the song of the millennium, okay, is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I stand not corrected. Anyway, but Somewhere Over the Rainbow was the song. Now, if you're going to sing that, and I'm going to take to the chorus part, because that's where the figure is, all right? I'm just coming up to the bridge. Now, I'm going to do a way not to do this. And this is the meaning. Well, they hit you promenade and travel halfway around. Come into the middle and square through, and I get 4 hands around. When did Judy Garland ever sing those notes? She did not. All right? Now, if indeed you want to sing those, yes, the fills are going to jump right all over you. Because you should have your mouth shut. All right? Now, if you sing it, the melody. Now, they hit you promenade and travel halfway around. You square through. Go all the way around. Swing through it now. Boy, run right, Ferris wheel go. Square through. 3/4 round. Swing and promenade. That's the actual notes to that melody, all right? Now, I use this because it's a melody everybody knows, like Happy Birthday, all right? And the whole point is, if you're going to you've already done hash. The hash is done. It ended when you said bow to your partner. But now we'll do the singing call. Now, you're going to do the singing call, sing. And I don't care whether it's the actual words to the original song or if it's choreo. It still are syllables. They are words. What if when whoever wrote the song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, instead of when tiny little rainbows go, instead of doing that, they actually wrote, had you promenade and go, wouldn't you sing that? There's no difference. Now, it does take choreography. But he's right. We started a while back thinking we're boring the dancers, so let's change the figure. I'm iffy on that because I have to admit I'm guilty of it, but I'm pulling myself back on it a little bit at a time, because if they have to think real hard, that takes away from their enjoyability, in my opinion, okay? So I'm backing off a little bit and calling it a little, but even if you do change the figures, call it simple. And themes, like if you have head square 3 4, make a right hand star. Head star left and middle. You're at that point now, you've got 8 beats to get done. You can touch a quarter, scoot back, swing and promenade. You can slide through, square through, 3/4, swing and promenade, slide through and roll and pass through and turn back. Lots of stuff you can do that takes 8 beats and have a theme, okay? So, but make it simple enough that dancers can enjoy it and sing the song. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, it takes some work on it, but it doesn't matter really what the song is. As long as now, this morning session in Harmony, we said number 1 rule, know the melody. If you're up there singing, doing a sing call, and you do not know the melody, why in the devil are you calling to begin with? Go home and practice. You know, the first time we had our convention here was in '83, I think. And I did a session, and during the session it was how we did music and what we did in fields and things like this. And somebody says, well, that comes easy. And my wife at that time, who never says 3 words a decade, said, well, she says, you haven't said it in my den when he does the same song for 5 hours in a row. Practice. Practice. There's no other way to get it done. Instead of saying, oh, I know that song, I think I'll just go call it. I have to admit, I've done it once or twice, and it bites me in the backside every single time I do. Because something's going to happen that you don't know. Yes, sir.
I want to add to that because what Wade is also talking about by practicing, it eliminates the word extemporaneous. How many of you folks are familiar with that term extemporaneous? Extemporaneous, in my opinion, means that you don't know what you're going to say before you say it. You're completely clueless about what you're going to say. And extemporaneous choreography cannot go hand in hand with singing a song. You can, Mike Seastrom is excellent at putting together some very creative figures that flow well, and the word meters there, happy together is a good example. Beautiful, great figure, perfect word meter all the way through. But not a single thing about it was that I guarantee you he didn't go in that studio and just say, let's see, what if the heads did a pass-through? Now what if we did a separate? Now what? Am I correct? Absolutely. Thank you for agreeing with me.
It takes hours after hours. And you know, have I ever done it? Yes, and every single time it kicks back on you, you know. And you're more likely to do it when you say, oh, I know the melody of that song. Let me share this with you. One of the reasons I have found that callers don't always sing the melody is they don't know the melody. Now, for example, a song comes out that you sing along with, all right, YMCA. Everybody knows YMCA, but do you know the melody to the chorus, to the verse? Maybe, maybe not, all right? Because the hook's what you go down the street singing, all right? Now, everybody knows, and I'm recording a song right now, and I'm using it because it happens to be mine, but everybody, if you've ever heard Cruise, then you know, baby, you're a song, you make me want to roll my windows down. But do you know the verse? Probably not. Now, the verse so often is the part that we use for the figure or vice versa or whatever. And that's the part I can always tell because they'll sing the song, they'll circle left, good voice, and they sing it and go, boy, that's great. Then they hit the figure and head 2 couples go square through and they get, it just stinks. I'm sorry, it just stinks. There's no 2 ways about it. So if you're going to sing a song, sing it all the way through. I can hear Sinatra now going, doobie-doobie-doo. Well, now when I went down the street, no, that's just not the way it's done. And the only way this is going to happen is learn the song, the melody to the original tune, and until you really know how to do it, go ahead and sing that song. Get used to it and just sing the song. Then get that singing call and think, oh, I can do this. All right. Now, one thing I want to touch before I pass it, in word metering, if the melody is right on thing, you might want to do Allemao left your corner, but you don't want to do left Allemao your corner. It really doesn't sound good. But if you're going to syncopate and come in on what I call the half beat, you got down, up, down, up, down. The up is the syncopation. If you're going to start your phrasing on the upbeat, then left Allemao, like left Allemao in the corner. But not Allemao, that just don't work. So think about it ahead of time and say, all right, if I'm going to phrase this, is this song syncopated or is it on the downbeat? So on the downbeat, I can still say Allemao left. Now, sometimes you're going to say, I don't have room or in the space to say Allemao left and weave the ring. Allemao and weave works. The dancers aren't stupid. All right, if you've only got 2 beats, Allemao and weave and sing the song. Again, you won't do this extemporaneously. You do it by practicing in advance. Does this make sense? But if you will sing the melody, I know Buddy does, I do. Everybody that goes in the studio, we take great care to have the musicians play the lead. The musicians fill in the part where you're not singing. And then you guys go take it and sing right over the top of all this money we paid these guys. And it's annoying, all right? So, you know, now, back years and years ago in the 50s, I was a rock and roll singer, and I was the token white. Back then, because I never sang in a white band. I didn't know what it's like. I never sang white. But the funny thing is that you had to, everything was phrased different. And the rule, these absolute, well, I asked Pat, now he's a musician, don't jump on the lead singer's vocal. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't jump on his vocal. And when I was singing back then, all the fill instruments were saxophones. You can't compete, you lose. Every time a sax plays, you lose, all right? So don't jump on my vocal, all right? Because I'm the guy that's the star, you know, which is a crock, all right? But anyway, so I implore you, learn your song, sing the melody, and one of these days a dancer's going to come up. Now, understand, you know in advance it's a lie. Right? But they're going to come and say, boy, you sing that as good as the original artist. You and I both know it's a crock. But if they say that, it means you're giving them that same feeling, and that's the most you can ask of yourself.
One thing that, too, what you hit on, too, is the idea of singing, playing the melody, too. How many of you folks have worked with live orchestras, live bands? Ghostwriters are a good example. Well, maybe not such a good example. They're used to playing with callers. But if you work with a band that's not used to playing with square dance callers, they'll tell you what's the lead instrument in every single band. Every band who works with a vocalist has one lead instrument. And what's the lead instrument? No, the vocalist. The vocalist is a lead instrument. The vocalist carries the melody. The band should only really be playing music right around you. The music is filling in around you. I can remember years ago when we had the two bands over there in Denver. What was the Ghostwriters and no, it was another one. It was another band up out of Colorado, and I was the last guy to show up for rehearsals. Oh, what a surprise! And I said, "Well, what song do you have? This song? No, that one's taken. This song's taken. This song's taken." I said, "What do you have left?" They said, "Good Friends." I said, man, I haven't done that for a long time. Okay, two bands are going to play together. We've got 4 guitars, 2 drummers, fiddle section, everybody up there, and I start up there, and I can't remember how the song goes. And I looked at and they were playing chords, and I said, "Will somebody play a lead?" They said, "We don't know the lead." It's your job to know the lead. I have no idea what the lead is. But that being said, that's your job as a square dance caller when you're up here doing a singing call, is you're the lead instrument. You should be that lead instrument. We have differing opinions on leads because I like to bury the leads a little bit in our music. I really want the caller to come out front and be the lead. And that being said, the lead should sound like the original song. It's how I really feel about it. Oops, hang on a second. Turn this down. Hang on. I got the wrong thing here.
Let me say I totally agree with him in that. Remember that the lead, from our perspective, is only a guide. You should actually feel it more than hear it, all right, so that you can come out.
That's right. The lead should sound like the original song.
Left
Funny comparison.
Square through, go 4. Trade by and do a left element. You swing your corner, promenade the land. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Roll all night long.
I may be embarrassing him, but he really sings it. When you hear him sing that song, every time he's singing, heads promenade, you go halfway, you can hear the original verses hitting right in there. And that's the way it should come out every single time. That being said, here's Andy Allemao.
Thank you very much. So I promised Tammy I wouldn't follow a girl, like a beautiful woman like Lottie, a child, I'll call Justin Russell a child, or Wade Driver, but, unfortunately...
Old.
No, there are just certain things in the biz you should not follow, and you are amazing. You are absolutely amazing, and it's a pleasure to be here. Anyways, Wade and Buddy have both covered most of what I was going to say. How many of you remember the old song, or the old 80s song, Can't Touch This? Can't touch this, you know. So pretty much every 80s song could have been chanted to Can't Touch This, right? Well, how many of you have listened to singing calls and noticed that a lot of them use the same figure? How many of you recognize this? Chant it with me as you start as you start recognizing it. Heads promenade halfway, come down the middle, square through 4, finish it. Absolutely. So, yeah, you're all hired, by the way. Well, so you all know why that figure is used so well. I mean, so often, right? It's very moldable. It's a figure that can be molded to just about any song. You play any song that you want to play. I can pick up the mic and do that figure and probably sound like the original, presuming I know what the original sounds like. And I think, one of the things, I don't know how many of you actually pre-plan your singing call figures. I've got to tell you, I am horrific at that. I don't. I just hear the music and I start calling. But you do have certain figures that you can make mold. And what makes them moldable? What makes them moldable are a couple of things. First of all, it's short to say most of the things you're going to say. If I say, heads promenade, I can say it in such a manner that, before you get halfway around, I can say halfway, no matter what the melody is, I can say that. Come down the middle, square through. Well, you guys already know how to do it. And I can say at any time how many hands, as long as it's before you get as far as I want you to go, right? So all of those sort of things are things that help me make sure that, I can mold that singing call figure to any. And there are lots of figures like that. So what I ask you to do is go through. I'm sure all of you have like a whole list of singing call figures that you know. Sort of look at them and see how moldable they are. Most of them are short calls that you can basically start the call, dancers will be moving, and you will be able to get to a point of finishing that call prior to them having to do something else. So that's one of the things that they didn't mention.
Before you go any farther, listen real close to what he just said, because that will make you 3 times the caller you are already. Very well said.
Thank you. I was going to play some music and actually see if you could recognize what I was singing and then sing something completely awful. Same singing call figure, but with bad timing. But instead of doing that, because I think Buddy did a wonderful intro with that. Yes. For the tape, Buddy said singing it badly, and I absolutely said yes. Hold on one second.
I'm Art Parks from Washington. Thank you very much, Andy. I just wanted to make the comment that having been in, we've all been in singing for quite a while, and I think our best way of learning is to hear people singing badly. It really makes it far more memorable to me. And so I would like to not discourage a bad example. Everybody at the front of the room we know is an excellent singer, and I would be and I think all of us would not judge adversely if we hear bad singing, because it's hard to do once you know how to do it right, I think. So, thank you.
Let me respond to that. Only my opinion. But no such thing as bad singing, just incorrect. All right? You can correct it and make what's bad good. Now, if you're pitch deaf, you might consider bowling. But other than that, there's nothing is bad. It's just incorrect. And you just correct what you're doing. That's all.
So if I sang the melody to a song and I sang a figure to that melody, I'm going to ask Buddy to give an example of that same song, possibly the same figure, just done badly. Because Buddy is much more facile than I am at doing things alternatively. So
Is that a compliment?
I'm not sure. I want to take that under advisement.
So, you guys tell me what song...
Thank you, Pat.
And this is actually Pat Carnathan's figure to this song, so... Head square through, 4 hands around, all the way, and then touch a quarter you do. Follow your neighbor and do a left swing through. Take a peek, trade the way, boys, you run right now. Ferris wheel and then the centers pass through. Swing the corner promenader you do. Anybody recognize the tune? Oh, it's That's Life. Now that you know that That's Life, did you kind of... If we had background music, you probably, I hope, would have picked it up. Buddy, do basically the same thing, but badly.
I can't do badly.
Let me tell you.
Wait. Maybe you...
I can. I'm going to tell you why, all right?
Wait, maybe you can
Back
do badly.
years ago when I was married the first time, my wife loved Sinatra. And she says, you need to do, there's a new cut on DNR, I think, wasn't it, who did That's Life? You've got to get, and she went and bought the record, you've got to do That's Life. I said, I stink at Sinatra. I just can't do it well. She says, yes, you can do anything. You know how I was on. So I sat one Saturday afternoon for 4 hours, and I practiced That's Life. And I got done, she says, you know what, you're right, you really stink. But I just can't do it.
He wanted to hear an example of something done badly. So
so we put one of Wade's
we're going to put one of Wade's on.
Remember,
Now, one of the things that we were talking about earlier now, and Andy and I do a few dances in a year, and together in a year, and one of the things that really drives me crazy when working with another caller is word meter. You know, and because word meter to me now, okay, we've already covered it, makes you sound like you're in the tune. The other part is coming in late with the word meter. For example, if the figure is heads promenade halfway, I don't want to hear, well, when you're ready now, the heads you promenade. You've just chewed up 3 beats with, well, now, when you're ready. They're ready. I just got done calling. I guarantee you they're ready. You don't have to ask them. I'll guarantee you they're ready.
That reminds me, your wife was in the bedroom. She's in a negligee. She lies down, and she says, oh, did you want to make love? Why are you asking? She's already told you you're ready. That answer's already ready.
Did you just say my wife?
No, I did not.
I want to know what you know.
No, I did not. I'm not kidding. I'm not going
about
down
my wife that way.
Are you ready?
You're darn right I'm ready. But
since I don't use the hi-hat version.
What a shame. 4 let each chain cross the ring now. You turn and chain the lady right back home. Join hands, circle. We're going to do it badly? Okay, we'll do it badly. No, we got to get to a figure. Allemao left and weave. So come to me and you're bad. Swing the girl around and promenade. My love, light your way out of the dark.
Out of the darkness, if you ever
need a true love.
Go.
Well,
square
you're ready.
Through 4, do side do. You make a wave, swing through now. Boy trade, boy run, bend the line, and a right or left through. I'm on key, flutter wheel. Slide through, swing corner, promenade. Oh, come to me. That's work. You got to work it.
I ever need a true love, come to me. And when you're ready, heads promenade, go halfway around the ring. When you do, come into the middle and you square through 4 hands. My timing is perfect now. 4 hand around and do a right left through. Turn the girl, you veer to the left. and Ferris wheel, and then center square through 3 hands round. I'm behind. Swing your corner, girl, and promenade. Now everybody's singing with me now.
If you ever need true love, come to me.
How many times have we heard that? And the guy has, or whoever the caller is so far behind now, it's thrown everybody off the word meter. No one can sound like they're singing the original song. And what really gripes me is if that's the guy who's ahead of me, you just turned me off. All right. What really gripes me is that when if that's the guy who's ahead of me, now I don't have 64 beats for my figure. I'm going to have to modify my figure to bring everybody back on time.
And they probably missed the corner as well.
Correct. Yeah, you know, the people are still promenading while we're singing "Come to Me If Ever You Get Lonely," and they're not home yet. So that's part of good word meter. Did that answer yours?
I
Is that
think
bad
it
enough
was
for you?
actually his. That was pretty bad, and that's going on YouTube, man. That was pretty awesomely bad. Exactly, honey.
Wow,
this is what I learned. Yes. So that's really outside of the stuff that. The other thing is, I'm amazed that even Wade has to practice. Isn't it? Yes. Yes, indeed.
Oh, let me tell you have no idea. Yeah, and the older you get, the harder. Now, one thing I want to touch on that Buddy mentioned while you're there, if you are working with someone else and that happens, I love it when I'm working with somebody and they're asleep. Okay, or I'm over here and I look back and this guy is either called, he's overextended, so they're still promenading home. He missed his corner or whatever, but I'm over here piddling, so I'm not paying any attention. And I come back and I have no clue where the floor is. Don't do that. Watch it, because remember, it's the product. And your job is not up there to embarrass the person working with you. Your job is to make that person look as good as and vice versa. So if I'm coming along and they get a little behind, and they're doing, and you're doing this song, just for example, and I'll guarantee you this is going to happen. All right. And you're coming along, and he's coming along, and promenade, and now they've got 12 beats left to go. Well, they're going to move on around the ring now. When you're home, I just dropped a do-si-do. Head square through, get 4. When you meet that corner, swing through, and now, boy, run right. You bend the line and do the right or left through, and everybody's in the ballpark at the right time, at the right place. He doesn't look bad. He says, thank you, you become a hero, and everybody's in good shape. Watch what's going on your stage.
One of the things that we talked about earlier, too, with when you get into hashing and all the choreography, you fall into these harmonic notes, and you lose a sense of melody. And I think that's a large challenge for a lot of lady callers. A lot of lady callers have that challenge because the music may not necessarily be keyed properly for them. And so it's vitally important, or perhaps more of a challenge for the lady caller to be able to find that melodic note, to sing the melody. I'm going to embarrass you now, and now it's your turn. So this is a good example of somebody who...
Head's gonna promenade, go halfway round. Walk in and square through, take it for you know.
Pause.
All the way into the right and left through, and then you veer left at Ferris wheel. Square through 3 hands around you fly. Swing your girl and promenade, you know. Do it love you make it, take my heart, but just don't break it, love.
She's singing with perfect word meter, because if you know the song, it's L is for the way you look at me. She says, heads you promenade, go halfway around, pause. And she got all the perfect pauses in there. She didn't sing over the 1 or 2 little things we put in there, little trills in there.
Because that little dee, 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 that just turns me on, man. I like it.
Well, it doesn't take much. But that being said, here's Lottie Ainsworth.
I love the way she blushes. Go ahead.
Let's swap.
Yeah. All right. There's the thing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Buddy did very good, I think, of explaining metering and what the session is about. I I think a lot of the things that he said is what I was going to say and what Andy is going to say, and that's how come he did such a good job. So now what do I say now that he's already said what I was going to say? So I thought that I would take a song that I thought was a challenge. I'm blessed to be able to record on Hi-Hat Records, which is Buddy's. And Buddy has let me record on that record label for quite a long time now. This song is an old Lori Morgan tune that was a song that I knew back in the 70s, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it was in the 70s. And this song can be this song can be quite a challenge unless you kind of know the song. If you know the song, then it's not going to be a challenge at all, which I guess that's the way it is with all songs. Now, one time I was on stage, and Wade Driver came up to me, and which is one of many of my heroes, and I'm sure yours too. And I was so proud of this song that I did. Not this one that I'm fixing to talk about, but it was a song that I did, but it was real wordy. But I thought I nailed it, and I thought, man, this is a good song. So I come off the stage, and I was not looking for a compliment. I was actually not looking for criticism either. I was looking for something in between, you know. Honesty kills. So he says, and I thought I did a really good, I don't even remember what the song was because I never have done it since. But he he told me one thing. He says, your voice is too good to sing a real wordy song. And I thought, is that a compliment or is that? So I really didn't know quite how to take that. I don't think I've ever talked to him about that either. So now who's embarrassed? So, but anyway, this song is very, very wordy, and it has a lot of words to it. I was bound and determined when I think whenever I recorded the song, I did not put this figure in there for obvious reasons, but I was bound and determined at my dance to do a figure that was different on this song. I agree with all the guys up here about using a figure that does meter well. At the same time, I believe that if you take a figure and you work at it hard enough, you can meter that figure to the song. Do you agree? All right. So with that said, I'd like to sing just a little bit of the song to begin with, so you'll maybe, and it's pretty country, because somebody thinks I'm nothing but country. And maybe some of you know the song. And then I want to get to the figure, all right? So, well, maybe not because I can't work the thing. I think I turned the sound down. I did. Hang on. Might want to go back to the beginning. Circle left, you look confused. You didn't think you'd see me kicking up my heels, painting up this town. Left Allemao in the corner, run home and do-sa-do. Left Allemao in the corner and you weave the rain. Except for Monday, which was never good anyway. Tuesday, I get a little sideways. Wednesday, I feel better just for spite. Thursday and Friday take too long. Before I know it, Saturday's gone. Sunday now and everything's all right. Okay, so you know the song. Some of us know the song because we're helping me sing it, which is good. So if you know the song, you know a generic figure, and I call them generic. A generic figure would do really good on this song. It's a promenade, halfway around the ring you go. Gonna walk right in and square through, take it for, you know, blah, 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 you know, in your Ferris wheel and all this. But what if you've done that all night, or you've done the simple, and they're not simple, but the generic figures all night? You got to have one or two that you've worked on, I think. So this is the one that I came up with. And I finally realized after about a year of doing it that if I only take out a little bit of direction, then this will work. Now, this is not for all dancers. It's a figure I'm sure you've heard of before. And I'll tell you what it is first. Hits past the ocean, extend, swing through, boy run, three-quarter tag the line. Now, at that point, boys have a wave. But you don't have time to tell them boys have a wave, because if you tell them boys have the wave, then you've lost it all. You've lost all the, you can say it, but then you're doing what they just did. So I finally learned, work the figure, if you have the group that you need to, work the figure a little bit in the beginning. If it's real easy for them, they're going to realize that the boys have a wave. And the next thing you do is swing through because we're in a left-handed wave. So anyway, I finally worked on it enough that I think it sounds all right. And if I don't, I'm really sticking it out there because opinions. Heads past the ocean, extend and then swing through. Boy, run to the right, and then you three-quarter tag the line. You swing through, and girl, turn a quarter to your right. You flip the diamond and recycle there. Do an 8-chain 3. I'm a little head on it. Let me try it again. Could you tell? Heads past the ocean, extend and then you swing through there, and the boy you run. Three-quarter tag the line. Flip the diamond then recycle, and then you do an 8-chain 3 and promenade. Thursday and Friday take too long. Before I know it, Saturday's gone. Sunday now and everything's all right. Now, if you've lost half of it, you've lost it all, right? If you've lost any part of it, even if you can get through it one time, if the boys are in a wave, but they're not ready for that. They're in a wave, but they don't know what to do. All right, so I'm saying, I don't go, boys, you have a wave, because they're not in a wave. How come they're not in a wave? Because they didn't three-quarter tag the line. They didn't go all the way through and get into their wave. Or they're still turning around. You know, when you tell them three-quarter tag a line, they're turning around. They're trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. Or undoubtedly, there's a boy somewhere that didn't jump up into the wave. So if you don't tell them, then what do? You change figures? Do you go to a different figure or what? If it didn't work, what do you do? Anybody, tell me, what do you do if it didn't work? Do you change figures? What? Yes. Okay. All right. So you change the figure. All right. Do you change it to something as equally difficult? Because it's not hard. Or do you go back to let's Ferris wheel and square through 3? Let me tell you what I do. If I find that anything I'm doing, because I more than anything want the dancers to succeed. I don't care how good I look or how, well, I do, but I don't care how good I look when I'm calling as far as what I'm calling, because I could give a flip less what I'm calling as much as how I'm presenting it and how the delivery is to them. I want everybody out there to have a good time. And if you don't hire me back next time because my stuff wasn't so difficult, well, maybe the local callers need to pump it up a little bit. If I see 2 or 3 people having a hard time with something, either I'm going to try to get them through it toward the end of the night, or I'm going to back off. And I suggest maybe that to y'all too, because they've got to have fun. They paid to be there, and you're there to perform for them and to make them have fun. So does anybody have any questions? Except for you.
Buddy, you might know, or you should know, the song "I've Been Everywhere."
Oh, I'm glad to hear you've been everywhere.
You know, "I've Been Everywhere." I think it was recorded by Ernie himself, and that is what I call personally a riot song. And I was thinking about that, how that what you said would fit for that song. Because you know there's a list of at least a list of towns you sing, Visita, Serie, Argentina, and so on, and the song itself and the figure part and so goes about the same way. Might cause problems. if I hear that.
It sounds kind of like a fisherman's luck kind of song, where you're trying to drive a certain emotion, being very wordy. I've never touched I've Been Everywhere because that's an Ernie Kinney song, and I have to wait till I'm about as old as Ernie till I've been everywhere.
That'll never happen.
120, and then we could. But on a serious note, those are difficult songs to really meter, I would think, for a singing call. Now, that being said, you can do it, and there are other ways of metering aside from singing the specific words to it. What did you have?
While Buddy's looking for
Come
that,
to me or something like that.
For
What,
the
you
tape,
got
that was
Come to Me on
Ulrich Brandt from Germany asking the question.
there. All right, put Come to Me back on. I'll let it play through. Actually, could you bring back the middle break, because I actually do like it, the middle break on here. You can prompt. Prompting is a form of word meter. Prompting is a form of word meter. Round as cuers, good ones do it. Go ahead. If you ever need a true love, come. All right, here it is now. Down the light your way out of the darkness. If you ever need a true love, come to me. 4 ladies chain. Chain back. Close enough. Circle left. Allemao left that corner, girl, and do the right to left grand. You can start singing, come to me if ever you get lonely. Just reach out your hand and there I'll be. I love like your way out of the darkness. If you ever need a true love, come to me. Heads promenade halfway. Square through and to get you for. Stay out of the way of the good music. Counter right on left through. Veer left, Ferris wheel around you do. Square through 3, that corner swing. You take her by the hand and you promenade your lady home. Love will light your way out of the darkness. If you ever need a true love, come to me. That's proper word meter.
Yeah.
That's proper word meter.
And I think it was a very good hint to say you prompted. That's the way that, for example, Al Stevens said in his Scholar Schools, gives the dancers first beat. And that's only possible with prompting in this respect.
You can have proper word meter and still give the dancers the first beat. But you've got to remember that the caller is a lead instrument. That means before the music note ever hits, you've got to be saying heads promenade halfway or ladies chain. You are ahead. For me, how it relates is when I go to call anything, I'm thinking I'm the lead instrument. I'm the lead. I'm ahead of the band. I'm ahead of as far as I'm concerned, all these recordings on here, that's just a live band for me. It's just a live band, and I'm going to lead it. I'm going to charge ahead. I'm going to lead these musicians. These musicians that may not know where to go. It could be the same song I've done for 20 years. I'm still going to charge ahead of the musicians, because that way the melody is established by me, the word meter is established by me, and the dancers, as you say, have the first beat to step on.
So, I love Andy. He's the only guy I've ever known who's more hyper than me.
What prevents you from filling in during prompting some text which you may modify, so that you can prompt, sing the text, prompt, sing a text, may be modified, and that would be a perfect synthesis of what we said right now.
All right, I want to do that because I want to make a comment on what Lottie said. Because you call on that figure, and say you heads past the ocean, extend, swing through, boy, running 3/4 tag, and the guys, the first time they mess it up. Am I going to quit on the figure? No. But I said a while ago, you always sing the melody. But there are times when you back off a little bit to help. I got a choice. Do I want to sound good, or I want them to win? I want them to win. So if I'm going to come the first time and they're floundering, all right, then I'm going to head past the ocean, extend, swing through, boy, run, 3/4 tag, boys, swing through. Now, if that one don't make it, next time I might come back and say, boys in your way, swing through, and I'll give up a little bit of the melody just to get them to win, because they got to win. If I do it 3 times and they threw it, then I'll go back to the Ferris wheel figure. I give up.
And one thing, too, that happens, if you do the figure 4 times, four times a charm, not three times. But don't do that. Don't drive them into the ground if they're not. But if half of them are getting, if you got 20 squares and you've got a 50-50 shot here, or even 3/4 of the squares are getting it, well, then you wouldn't want to back off because they feel all successful and it wasn't hard for them. So then you want to just really, really work on the ones that didn't get it and maybe back off a little bit and help them. You're in a wave. Hello, you're in a wave.
Years ago, I was talking to Flippo, and I said, how do you decide what you're going to call next? He said, I don't care. That's when you don't care. He said, if they're leaning to the right, send them to the right. If they're leaning to the left, send them to the left. Path of least resistance, who cares? He said, if you can't call well enough to do that, go home and practice. Now, understand, Flippo will not say anything nasty to anybody, but he was kind of my mentor, and he does to me. You think you got problems, you ain't seeing nothing. You get that little guy. Anyway, but on directional, he said, look at every figure. For example, if you're going to write that figure and you're going to use it, which I think is great because we need a little variation. Before you ever present it the first time, I said, how do you, because understand this. Let me retract a little bit. Back when mainstream, when we first came up with the list, Flip went in, he did a whole series of tapes, and he did like 24 tapes, all the mainstream dances. I bought the whole set of cassettes, put it in my tape player, put it in my bathroom, and every time I walked in the room, I pushed the play button. I did not sing to it, didn't call to it. I just listened to get an idea of the feel of his timing, his rhythm, and his cadence, his presentation. And the directional calling, I said, how do you decide? He said, you back off and you look at a figure. Lottie hit it right on the button while ago. If you do a 3/4 tag, what are they going to do wrong? Either they're going to stop and look behind them and see where they're going, or they're going to pass by that wave, or they're not sure where they're going to go. So you look at the places where they're most likely to fail, because you don't want to quote the definition, whether it's pinch hand, exchange of gears, or whatever it is. But look where they're going to fail, and that's where you're going to help them in those little spots like that. And that's what she said a while ago, and I think it's exactly what you have to do.
There was one thing I wanted to say earlier. I wanted to start off, and I forgot this, and you made me remember it. When I first started calling, of course, I learned to bring octaves down and learned to sing all over again. I thought I could sing until I started calling, and then I realized, I got to back down a little bit because I was a real high soprano, very high soprano in church, in choir. But one of the things that I was taught in the beginning, of course, this was, a long time ago. We won't talk about how long ago. But one of the things that I was taught was if you're up there just singing, because I was a singer, if you're up there just singing and you're not giving them the figure and you're still just singing, a lot of lady callers will, and men callers too, when they first start, they'll do this. They'll, like the song Crazy. Everybody know the song Crazy? All right. So the song is crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. That's the song. All right. So I would, long time ago, go head square through, 4 hands around there, and then you do side do. Now, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that they're all up into the song with me, but they're not hearing what I'm saying. So you've got to, some way or another, make the figure to where that they'll understand. Am I making any sense at all? Okay, so then it becomes head square through, 4 hands around there, do side do, swing through, and then boy run right, or whatever, but you got to emphasize the calls, or else they get lost as much as you get lost, and then they're standing there looking at you, they're not dancing. So that is one of the things that kind of turned around and changed for me whenever I first started calling. Now it's back again that we can meter the song, sing the song, but make it to where the figure is still distinguished.
One of the reasons, too, why that heads promenade half square through 4 figure works out so well and so popular is because it times perfectly. It times out well. You've got a 64-beat stanza that you're playing to, and you've got 16 beats of singing that you're going to do. 16 beats? 16 beats of singing? Yeah, 16. Yeah. So it times out well. But, sometimes when you get – how many folks have worked with groups where the folks are just having a difficult time keeping up? We've all been in those situations, and usually what goes to suffer for us is the timing of our delivery, the word meter. We no longer sound like we're singing pretty. If we sound like we're singing in time with that figure, if it's heads promenade, halfway square through 4, right, left through here, left Ferris wheel, the people aren't keeping up. They may be kind of, for whatever reason, it might be the position of the moon for that day. The doctors change your meds that afternoon. We don't know. There's all kinds of reasons. So you've got to change. So now we talk about timing, the timing of the figure, because every figure's got a sense of timing. If the call is square through, how many beats to square through? How many beats to square through? 10. And that 10 could be a slow 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That tempo will change. Timing doesn't. If your dancers need more time to get through the dance, you don't give them 12 beats for the square through. You change your figure. And you give them a little bit more time. And where do you want them to have more time? At the end of the figure. So that when they're promenading home, if instead of taking 16 steps to get around, give them 8 steps. So they're home in 8, and they can huff and puff their way back and take their breath for 8 beats while you finish singing the song. Easy to do. Heads promenade halfway, side square through 4 hands. Right and left through, veer left, Ferris wheel, center square through 3. Same darn figure, except that we just changed it. Instead of heads promenade half, head square through, it's now side square through. So their swing now is on the other side of the square. Their promenade will take them 8 beats to get back home. That's enough time for you to still sing, "Come to me if ever you get lonely," and let them enjoy listening to you sing that song. There are too many times where we ruin our songs by giving the dancers a stop. You know, we're singing a song and the dancers have stopped moving in the middle of especially in the singing call figure. You know, relay the deucey, and we're waiting for that one square out of 5 to catch up, and the other 4 they're doing this. You know, they're hiccup dancing. I call it hiccup dancing because they're doing this, and the caller doesn't say anything, so they back up. And that ruins the whole feeling, the whole effect. So you need to tighten that up. If you need to give them time to rest, give them the time at home. Correct?
Absolutely. And I'd like to add to that. We spend a lot of time on, and I'm not knocking it, don't get me wrong. I love choreo, and I love choreo for pattern calling, all right? We spend a lot of time in resolving and resolutions and how do you find your corner. Do you spend that much time in making your singing calls flow and time properly? For example, now, if you had square through 4 and you do-si-do, all right, you're looking at a minimum of 18 beats, all right? Some of these old people just can't get there. If you heads promenade half, pass the ocean, and extend, you're in the same place 4 beats quicker, all right? Research. Find out. For example, instead of head 2 couple square through to get 4, round the corner, lady do, side do, heads you promenade and travel halfway, you down the middle and pass the ocean, then extend, and all of a sudden they win. You do the rotate the square and give them an 8-beat promenade, and they'll waddle a little way around, but they'll all get home in time. You know, if they're not going to win, why be there, all right? But take the time to research your singing calls. Now, the other issue we have, how many, and I'm not putting anybody in here, but how many in this room are over 40? 50, 60. I'm not going to go any farther, make me feel bad. Our music has changed, ladies and gentlemen. It has changed. But you can still use the same choreo if you take your time. Now, we had this figure on Come to Me. We had to figure all the way back to come Monday. Try this one. Turn me up, volume, please. One more time. Same figure works. Same figure works. It's promenade, go get me halfway around. Walking past the ocean and then extend. Swing through 2 by 2, the more run around that lady do. Bend that line and a rattle it through. Turn that lady, come on baby, you flutter wheel go. Come on and slide through, you swing your corner. But you best know that thing so you know where to say those words. All right, you're just calling it the very same figure, but all of a sudden, as you said, I'm the lead vocalist. I'm the guy that's carrying the melody. So you want to follow those things, but learn the song. And I heard a guy say, I just got this today, and I'm going to call it tonight. And I thought, are you in for trouble? All right? So, but all the choreo will fit, but you have to adjust the metering. It's just what Lottie said a minute ago. You can't just get up and sing. They got to win. So it's a marriage. There's a very, very fine line between unique, weird, and wrong. All right? And the neat thing is to be unique. Weird is "nyeh," and you don't want to cross the other line. But there's a very fine line in there, so you got to figure out where you are.
He used Call Me Maybe, and the build-up that he was saying, I knew he was fixing to talk about Call Me Maybe. I don't do Call Me Maybe as a singer. I love the song, but I use that for patter, and it is my favorite patter. My favorite patter. You turn the thing on. You turn that sucker on. I mean, you got people like already doing this. Yeah. Come on, let's do that. Bow to the partner, turn around, and anything you say. And when you're ready, and then you turn this way. All right. So anyway, but I love that because, and the more, even if they don't know the song, and it's a very popular song, but with the age group that we use, there's a lot of people who've never heard that song. Is there anybody in this room that's never heard that song? See, okay, all right, but it's a very popular song, and so if you sing the song, then it's okay, but if you use it for patter, everybody gets into the beat, no matter if they know the song or not, which is why I think it's very good.
And you have to be judicious in selecting that. I won't call as a singer for everywhere, but it's a lot more popular than I thought. I did it with my granddaughter, I'll be honest with you. She's 8. She sat in my lap at Christmas and started playing, and I sing it along with her. She said, "Oh, Grandpa, you know the words to my favorite song, You're My Hero." Well, I was in the studio the next day. I was like, hello now. Man, there was no, but on the other side of the coin, she was talking about hoedowns. In addition to metering in general, we're talking singing calls, but we have a lot of new pop, I'm going to be right with you, but not a new pop music that we can use. Be judicious, all right? How many of you heard Blurred Lines? Now, but, all right, there are several versions. Most of them are bad. Now, I don't mean words. You think I'm talking about the content. I'm not. I'm talking about the rhythm track. Understand that that song is popular. Not just for some people just like the filthy words. That's my point. All right, but the combination of Robin Thicke's vocal, Pharrell Williams' vocal, and all those little things are in there. Now twerking, no, I won't go with the twerking. But the problem is if you take any one of those pieces out, it loses part of its rhythmic feeling. And I've listened to somebody did a hoedown to it, and I've listened to do the karaoke to it. Those parts aren't there. And without them, you're going to lose the dynamics. There's only one bad word in it, excuse me, ladies, but it's bitch. That's the only bad word in the whole song. All right? And it says, you're the hottest, whatever. So I went on. I have a little program I'm doing, and I took out one line. I removed one word. So now my hoedown says, you're the hottest in this town. There's nothing else in that song that's offensive, but the difference is, listen to the, turn me up, will you? Turn me up. Oh, well, am I? Oh. Did you I'm not going there. All right, now. I'm not playing. Hello, wait a minute. Talk to me, Wade. Now.
Everybody get up.
It's the combination of the voice and all the stuff in the back. The dancers love this thing. So, and I'm not going to let one word keep me from something good. So you go on Amazon, and for 99 cents, you download it. You get a free copy of Audacity, because it's free. And you bring this song up and you go find that one part and you go and take. Now, if it doesn't have a voice removal, for that one note, take the volume, take it to 0. Yep. They'll never hear it. They'll never know it's gone. Yes, sir?
Just with respect to exactly that point, Barry Johnson from Lake in the Hills, Illinois, on the MP3s that are coming from the convention, listen to the section on music, on digital transitions, where we do exactly what Wade said. Take that song, take that one word, put the volume to 0, done.
And you've got a fantastic piece of music, costs you 99 cents. Whoopie do. All right? It's what I call the 99-cent solution. People say, well, I don't want to buy all this music. Mike Seastrom and I went through one night. He used tequila. I used vodka. We sat in his desk. And after 3 hours and feeling very, very good, $139 later, I own every piece of music in his laptop. And we had more fun than I've had, and I can't tell you how long. Just downloading and researching and cutting up and having a good time. 99 cents is not that much, guys.
This Ego Records is coming out and coming strong and doing a lot of songs that some of us can relate to, some more modern music. Some of us cannot relate to them at all. But this song I love. It's a Kelly Clarkson song, and I love this song. It was my ringtone for a long time because of some things that I've been going through, and I love this song. Absolutely love this song. But when Paul recorded it, I felt really, really uncomfortable with the first words of the song. And let me play a little bit of it for you. I'm not plugged in. Am I?
And the reason we emphasize this is we're telling you, sing the melody. But sometimes you got to use good judgment with the content.
Does anybody recognize the song? Okay, all right, so, and I got to hear it. So I just love it already. I mean, I hear it and I'm like, oh man, and they do too. But listen to what the first words of the song are. So I prayed about this. I really did. Sides, face, grand square. You know the bed feels warmer. Sleeping here alone. You know how they look at me?
Oh, not good.
It's like, well, honey, where you been? Now. All right, so then it says, I can't do it.
You don't want to say those anyway.
Sides, face, grand square. You know it all feels warmer. Sleeping here alone. You know I dream in color and do the things I want. Allemao and Weaver. Think you got the best of me. Think you got the last laugh. Swing your girl around and all promenade, yeah. Think you left me broken down. Think that I come running back. Baby, you don't know me 'cause you're dead wrong. I quit singing it for a while. I quit doing the song because I thought, this is really bad. So there's a right group and there's a right time and and you would not believe, though, the girlfriends, the women out there who are like, yeah, baby, do it. So sometimes, but I did change it to sleeping in the bed alone. I changed that.
There are things that sometimes there's some stronger. There's sometimes, for example, Hunter, he's not here.
108.
Hunter does a killer job to Independence Day. All right, he says, but now if you do all the words, that's a story about spousal abuse. It just ain't my cup of tea. All right, but the music and the song itself is dynamic. I've just recorded it. I'm in the process of recording a tune called Cruise, and it says brand new Chevy with a lift kit. The original words would look a hell of a lot better with you up in it. He took it out and says would look a whole lot better. But I'm not going to throw the song away. Elmer did a tune called Broken Heartsville, and here's to the past. You can kiss my glass. I promise you, if you say kiss my glass, that's not what they're going to hear. And so I don't do that. I say, here's to the girl that rocked my world, and I just go ahead and sing the song, change it around. I'm not going to throw away a good piece of music when I can just change the words a bit, and the same. You can adjust them, make them work, but don't just do it. Well, that's what the words say, so I'm going to do it. Again, back to the bowling.
So we had a number of questions. People had their hands up. Okay, we'll start with Chuck.
Chuck Simpkins, Grants Pass. I went to a school that Wade and Mike Sikorsky did recently, and I've been calling for 5 years. Yes, I'm not deep into it yet, but he taught me one thing: shut up and let the music play. Okay, I've been filling gaps with fill words and little things that I was taught in other call schools that I figured it would. I was doing the right thing, but I realized in one of the tunes that came out that everybody likes to hear me sing, where I come from anyway, is Wagon Wheel. And the first time through, there's a spin the top in there, and I say spin the top, move on up, pop. All right? That's the only time I say that. The rest of the time I let the music play the other 3 times. People loved the way that worked out, and I took what Wade said to heart, because now I do it on other singing calls also.
You say pop one more time than I do. It fits Adam. Adam's 23. It don't fit me. All right? But, again, judgment and do what fits you. And normally less is better.
Joe Gonzalez?
Joe Gonzalez, Clovis, California. So basically, if we practice the song more often, the metering will come about, right?
If you learn the melody, absolutely.
Yeah.
And practice it the right way. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And
Perfect practice.
If you practice it the wrong way, you'll get very good at doing it the wrong way.
Your salvation is the melody, because when we go into the studio, I know I do, Buddy does, I'd say 90% of us, the main thing we do is we play the original melody to that song. And that's what we send into the band pickers. That's what they use as a model. We're going to play that melody. For you to sing something else would really be, that's like you get them on stage with a live band and they're going to do this song, but I want to sing this song whether you like it or not. That's just not smart. So, yes, if you practice the right way and practice the melody, it will improve your delivery, I promise.
You know, another thing you can do is do it a cappella with no music, and just see if your spouse can recognize the tune that you're trying to sing. If you just use the square dance calls. You know, and that's one way you can figure that you can quickly determine how your word meter is and if you're singing the melody or not.
I tell you, I used to do a school up in Vancouver, Washington, and the first time I did this, it was just 4 or 5 years ago. We sat around the table, and we do a different school. We sat around the table the first night like this. There's 6 of us sitting around, and I had everybody send me your favorite singing call. So I had a list here, and I said, all right, so-and-so, who wants to go first? One guy, I'll go first. Your singing call is so-and-so. He said, yep. I said, all right, sing it. He said, we don't have any equipment. I said, I don't care. Sing it. Call it. But I don't have a mic. I said, I don't care. What part of I don't care do you not understand? Sing the song. Because if you can't sit there and do what Buddy said and sing it a cappella, you're not going to get a whole lot better with the music.
Virgil Forbes, Maryland. Wade, this sounds a lot like the first time I heard you give a clinic 35 years ago in Bremerton, Washington, where the first thing he said was, play the record 20 times without opening your mouth. Get the music. Get the music. And after you know the music, think about what kind of words you're going to use. And that's been 35 years ago. Point 2, and as music has progressed over the years, the music is getting better and better. And no matter how well you sing, the better the music is, the more I'm tempted to prompt and let the music carry the dancers. They just need enough direction to do the figure. Okay, yeah, sing the last break. Yeah, you want to show off a little. But the better the music source is, the more I'm tempted to prompt and let them have music. Third and final point, to all of the spouses and significant others, bless you all for putting up with us while we learn our music.
Amen.
Can I touch on that just one little bit? One thing we have not hit on, and it is with word metering, but it also has to do with the mix. Remember that they're dancing, and I personally, and I guess everybody has their own taste, I want them to dance to the music. I do not want them to dance to my voice. And if you're doing a song, it doesn't really make a difference what it is. Here, we'll do this one because go away. It's your mix, and a lot of people tend to do this. What you don't want is this. Abilene, Abilene, the prettiest. They're dancing to me. They're not dancing to music. At no time in your life will you ever be as pretty as that music. That's just a fact of life. Your voice is not going to sound as good as that music. So work on your mix so you can, like the round dance cures do, enough that they can dance to the music but still hear your direction. Then, all right, what you're going to do is memorize that mix. It'll be different for everybody. But once you've got it, you can memorize it, what it is, you can set it up in a heartbeat. So that now I can sing and they're dancing to that, and I'm just instructing them. All right? I really implore you to do that.
We can take one more question, and we're going to wrap it.
to the pretty one on the stage. You used a singing call as a patter call, and you only played a little bit of it. I didn't get enough of it on my cell phone to copy it when I get home. So, can
Do you want me to turn it on again so you can really get in trouble?
It is also available as a patter. It's called Maybe It's a Hoedown. Yeah.
Maybe it's a hoedown. Yeah. Wade Driver, Lottie Ainsworth, Andy Allemao. Thanks, everybody.
Buddy Weaver, nice job as moderator. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.